Jasmine, my Jasmine. Where is my Jasmine? Where is my Jasmine Brown? Anyways, Jasmine Brown, if you guys don't know, this is Cam Newton's current girlfriend, or what he likes to say, partner, whatever that means. But she had her own reaction to Cam Newton's interview, and particularly the part that went viral about him not necessarily wanting to marry. His fear of divorce is higher than his desire for marriage, right? So she had something to say about this. So Jasmine Brown says she loves to serve. This is after Cam Newton's viral interview where he credits her with helping him unlock his emotions. Now, the part that I'm about to show you is Cam. There's a part of the Cam Newton interview with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, the fake doctor, where he actually credits her for being a positive influence in his life. Now, that part didn't go viral, but I'm going to show you that right now.
So the thing that my children have taught me is unlocking emotions, and also
fair use, by the way, fair use.
It's just not my children, it's my partner now. And she does an amazing job with identifying that. It's like, tell your daughter, like, I'm making you better for your daughter. You doing what? Trust me, babe. It ain't no, come down. We not yelling. I'm not yelling, babe, but I just want you to feel me. Yes. Kuda needs you. Kiri needs you. Tweet needs you. Like, these things is where it's a place of refuge, not a place of war.
Right.
So as I'm living, I'm not afraid to say, bro, I cried. Man, my sons make me proud.
Different and better always.
So the thing that my children.
So it's interesting. This part of the interview didn't get viral. It was just 304s mad that he said he didn't think marriage was right for him in his situation, but he said he still wanted more kids. And it's very interesting, man. Particularly BWs complaining about Cam Newton allegedly making broken homes. It's the most uncanniest ironies I've witnessed in this decade so far. One of the most uncanniest ironies I've witnessed in this decade. And that's not even me being over dramatic when I say that. So Jasmine Brown actually responded to this part of the interview. This is where she wanted to focus on right here.
Everything is done. I'm gonna put my baby to sleep. I don't know about y'all. I don't know what brings you guys joy, but it really brings me joy to serve. I love being a servant. I love to serve. It just brings me joy. I love it. I love serving. I love it. I love it. I don't give a damn. I'll be up at 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, cooking breakfast, serving. I just love that. I love it. Yeah. It's like, it just gives me purpose. And now with the new baby, now I just feel even more purposeful, especially like when I breastfeed. I feel so full of life. I love it. I love it. All right, come on, baby. Now that everything is done.
Have you guys noticed, Cam Newton's baby mom, like the amount of baby moms that Cam Newton has, which I think she's the third, the amount of baby moms that Nick Cannon has, Future, et cetera, et cetera. Have you noticed none of them are quote unquote suffering from postpartum? Anyways. Anyway, let me keep this positive. This is good to hear, obviously, but I want men to understand this. That unfortunately, that treatment that she's giving him, that's only for a select few. And it seems to be now, especially nowadays, it's the guys with options. Well, it's kind of always, first of all, it's always been like that, but it's been clearer to me, these past years, realizing that it's the guys with options that get the best treatment from women. You know what I mean? So it's like the dudes that don't actually, like, Cam can get any girl to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's interesting is men with abundance, they tend to get the best initial treatment. You know what I mean? Especially when you have the social proof, the status, the money. But I always say money and social proof. You know what I mean? That's very big. And I'm very staunch support, I'm very staunch on social proof. Social proof, especially in today's age, really sometimes I'll say a lot of the times even outranks the money. There's a lot of dudes with money that's struggling, but I always say social proof. So I say social proof. I'll say that a lot. I'll say a lot of times. I don't. Some people will say most times. I think social proof ranks supreme, and Cam Newton has all of that: money, fame, status, social proof, stature, literally, physically. You know what I mean? So a guy like that, he's gonna have. What's interesting is it's not just Jasmin Brown that's giving him that treatment. He has a whole line of broads willing to give him that treatment, and he doesn't have to put a ring on their finger. Now, there's dudes that literally put a ring on a broad's finger, did everything, meet with the parents, all that, and they still can't even get close to that kind of a treatment. That's the unflattering, reality of this situations like this. But this is why I say what I say. There's people in the comment section crying about basically Cam Newton exercising his options as a man. But I always say, like, a guy of Cam's stature, he can do it. He can pull it. He can get abroad to literally serve him, do all this stuff, and literally put a baby in him and all that. And he doesn't have to put the ring on the finger. The broads are signing up for this treatment, not Cam. Now, Cam has been open and honest about his goals and what he's looking for and what he wants to do. This is why I don't see Cam Newton as a villain in this situation. But that's just me. I don't want to go into that. I've already talked about it ad nauseum. Like I've already talked about this ad nauseum. I don't want to go over this stuff again. Cam Newton is not the villain here. Shout out to Jasmin Brown for playing a role. But people don't understand. Guys like Cam, they have options. Most men are not in that position. You know what I mean? So if a man is talking about, if you hear a man talking about Cam is creating broken homes, it's like that's a people talking about low functioning, whatever. I think some people just can't look outside of themselves. And first of all, a lot of these dudes that are, I think they're hating on Cam, but that's my opinion. Or that they just hating it. They're a little bit jealous of Cam because it seems, because what happens is you have a lot of dudes, they think they can virtue signal their way into some punani. They're just addicted to getting that pat on the head from women that don't really like them. But anyways, let's look at some of these comments. So somebody said, I've got to be a man in my next life. So comments like this. So in her mind, man, she just thinks that all men got it like that. And that's just not true. Now, if you're a guy like a Cam, yes, you can have it made like that. But Cam is literally a 0.00000000001% man in this country. And literally a 0.00000000001% black man. You know what I mean? In the world. You know what I'm saying? And those guys just get different. They get king treatment. You know what I mean? From broads, from many broads. I'm not gonna say most, but many broads, and they can have it like that. Now, this is the mistake that many women make, and they kind of expose themselves that they don't understand the life of the average man. Because people might be saying I'm cynical when I say this, but I'm willing to bet if Jasmin Brown was just with another regular dude, all of a sudden you would have started hearing about postpartum depression and all that stuff about serving and being a servant. I don't think you'd be hearing that from her. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think you would have that kind of. I don't think she'd be that same way if she was just with a dude that wasn't an athlete. A dude that was just even if he did make a lot of money, but a guy that was just regular physically was regular. You know what I mean? So then you're going to have a lot of women in here talking about, hey, maid, I see you got on your maid outfit. And like I said, these same women that are making fun of Jasmin Brown, if they were in her situation, they would be saying the exact same things that she's saying right now. I'm telling you, dude, trust me. I have way too many. I'm talking about anecdotal experience. I'm talking about women that bro, when I was in high school, there was this girl, even though I knew a lot of girls that were in that situation, but I want to highlight a particular situation. This girl, she was always the pretty girl that a lot of people, a lot of dudes would fall over, but she ended up falling for a dude that already had multiple women. He was one of the jocks in the high school I was going to. He was probably the top guy. I think probably out of all the dudes in our class, he was probably considered the top dude. He had the height, he had the status, you know what I mean? According to the girls, he had the looks. Cool dude. Funny dude, a bit of a hole, but I found him funny. Anyways, she ended up being his girl, but what she didn't understand was it was never gonna be just her. You know what I mean? And but she accepted the challenge. And the stuff that she would do for this dude, she was going outside of herself, meaning the what she thought she was giving him king treatment was usual treatment from him. Like, meaning he was already used to women trying to cook for him, women trying to be nice and massage him after his basketball games and all. He's already used to that. So it's like, what else can you offer? Even though she was like, now, if she were to give another dude that treatment, he would marry her. But when you're dealing with one of the top dudes, they already have a line of women doing what you think is a lot. And you think, okay, I finally got this quote unquote high target or high value guy that every girl wants, and I got the main guy that every girl wants. But what girls don't understand, when you're dealing with a guy like that, the usual stuff like cooking and cleaning and massaging him, and that's normal stuff. But he can get that from anywhere. And I'm talking about from women that are willing to be his side chick. I'm talking about there's a woman like particularly this guy I'm talking about had side chicks already doing that for him, and other women lining up to just to be around the dude. Any that so like I said, these are the same women. And then I remember like when they eventually broke up, she was like, "Man, I did all this stuff for him. I cooked for him. I don't even do that for anybody." And like, you see? And the girl that I'm talking about, she was one of those, oh, I'm not gonna do this for no dude and blah blah blah. But the problem is girls like that end up losing, because what happens is some of those girls end up getting lucky. They end up catching an attention from a guy with a lot of money or a high value or target man, right? But then they are ill equipped once they enter that situation because they have no practice. Their moms didn't tell them how to care for a dude. They've been listening to all those girls like, no, you have to bring out my femininity. Well, that's one of the worst advice that women have given other women, in terms of he has to the guy has to bring out the femininity out of you. No, 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 no. If there's any women listening to me, check this out right here. It's either you're feminine or you're not. All that stuff, that conditional femininity and all this stuff, where only if he makes this and that amount of money, then he can get my. No, 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 no. It doesn't work that way. It's either you're feminine or you're not. It's either you're a servant or you're not. All this stuff is only if I, because people with that attitude, just in general, men or women, people with that attitude, they end up most of them, they end up crapping out of luck. So if you have a person where, okay, I'm only going to give this job, I'm only going to give my all if this job is only paying me this. You know what I mean? If you have that kind of attitude where you're not being fair, and you're just saving it for this because you feel like you're above this, only if you get this certain, like, you're like say if you're a musician and you're like, oh, I'm only gonna practice only for if it's a high pay. If you have that kind of a habit, that can end up backfiring on you big time. You know what I mean? So oh man. But that's what people don't, people don't understand. A guy like Cam, he can get a girl like this. And she will, like I said, and she'll just accept her role, what it is. That's what guys don't understand, because guys couldn't even fathom a girl just being feminine and just treating him like a king just off GP. Because American men are basically used to having to literally stepping on eggshells, almost, it's almost like walking on eggshells so you don't upset your girl, because if you upset your girl a little bit, then no play for you tonight and all this stuff. So we're just so used to having to, quote unquote, bring out the femininity, which ends up, what we end up doing is basically burning ourselves out as men to do that. This is why the passport bros are always like, look, I go to these other countries and the women they're just feminine. And it's not like I have to do this for the girl to be feminine. They just are feminine. You know what I mean? It's not that's what really a lot of those guys that are attracted to women overseas, that's that thing that they're really attracted to, where I don't have to be a Cam Newton to get, you know what I mean? I don't have to be a 0.0000001% black man just to be treated like a human. You know what I mean? So this is the stuff that actually attract You know, this is why like men like 10 are now are so are very pro how do I say it? They are very for men going overseas and experiencing a different type of woman, not the average American broad.